Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. So this is video number 2. This is where we're going to do all of our flips and flaps and pockets. If you're just tuning in, you didn't watch video 1. Video 1, I went through the album in detail what we're doing. These are just the pages. It's the 7x7 mini that I came up with. So in the first video, I did go over the album and we did make our standard pocket pages, which a pocket page is just a page that's open on both sides. So our page did have the hiccup. Remember, I dropped it because I got distracted by something, but it's fine. I'm telling you, it's going to be fine because all you have to do is cover it with paper and no worries at all. So I'm going to try to do this slower, but my son's out there driving for the first time, so you know, I'm a nervous mom, so every time my phone dings or whatever, I'm like, ah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the cutting guide is an accurate cutting guide. If you are following along with me in the first video, I said save your scraps. So we're going to use our scraps that we cut off for the pockets and flips. It's pretty much the same as the cutting guide, maybe a 1/16 of an inch difference. It doesn't really make a difference, but in the first video, I showed you how little scraps I had left, so that's why I want to use up the scraps. You can follow the cutting guide if you want. You just may have more scraps than I did. Okay, let's get on with it. So we're going to do page 1, and page 1 is this one here that had the pocket and the flip. Yeah, I think that's just page 1. So we're just going to do that. So page 1, what we need is a piece that is 4 1/8 by 8. So just take your handy dandy scraps that you cut off, and all you need to do at this point is trim off that 1/2 inch on this side. That's it. So we have that, and then we are going to score 5/8 of an inch on all 3 sides, so the 2 sides and the bottom. Now 5/8 of an inch is sorry, my texts are going off. Okay, no, not missing. Okay, 5/8 of an inch is just after 135, just after the 1/2 inch mark. So this one you can score everything at 1/2 inch, but it's going to leave a little tiny bit, so your pocket is not going to fit as snug as we want it. So 5/8 of an inch is 1, 3, 5 right here. So in between the 1/2 and the 3/4 inch mark. So that's what you want. If it's easier for you to do it on a scoreboard, yeah, you know what, let's do it on a scoreboard so you can see that. So I have the Martha Stewart one, so the 5/8 of an inch is the 3rd green. So we're just going to do that. And flip it. And do 5/8, 1, 3, 5. Flip it. And 5/8. Okay. So that's it. That's all we're going to need for that. And so this is going to be your pocket. So I'm trying to decide how I want you to do. I like to cut my stuff first and then go along, but I know that's kind of confusing, and I'm especially seeing I'm using black paper. So let's go ahead and do what we need to do to this, and then we'll go to the next piece. So on this pocket, all we're going to do is see the cross here, the X. We're just going to kind of miter our side, so you're just going to kind of chop that off, like right up to that where they all meet together, the little X. You don't have to miter your quarters, but it takes out some of the bulk. So that's all we're going to do, and we're just going to fold those like so. And that is your pocket. And actually, I'm just going to use that to cover up that oopsie daisy. So this is the most important part. make sure your openings are to the left and to the right. So I like to go through and make sure, like this one, it's not. So flip it so that way your openings are to the left and the right. Because if they're not to the left and the right, then you're going to have a problem and everything's going to be upside down. So your openings need to be to the left and the right. Because what you're going to do is place it on the spine this way, and then your tags are going to go in here. So that's a visual, makes sense, right? Okay. So this is our pocket. So it should just line up on the back. It doesn't have to meet. Mine, one side does, one side doesn't. It doesn't really matter because you're just trying to get out some of that bulk. So just make sure that it fits. Now, I like to have 1/8 of an inch around anything I put down. I just love the look of that. If you don't love the look of that, then you know, you can score it a little bit more so that way you don't see it's like right edge to edge. But I don't like edge to edge. I like it to have like this border, and I don't know if you can see here, but the border here. So my pocket does have that border, you just can't see it. That's just my preference. You can do yours however you want. So we're gonna put this aside. Yeah, we're gonna put this aside, and we're gonna do the flap. So the flap is 4 1/8 by 6 5/8. So again, just your same scrap here. And yeah, I mean, it's roughly 4 1/8. I think it's like 4 1/16, whatever. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this down to 6 5/8. So 6 5/8, if you're a visual person, is here's your 6. So you're gonna go 1, 3, 5. So that's what it is, because our pages are this long right here to this tick mark. This is how long our pages are. So I just want that little bit, I just want this space right here. So it's like, you see how it's just 1/8 of an inch shorter than the page, because I want it to fit nicely in our pocket. So let's go ahead and cut that down. And again, keep your scrap. So 6 5/8, which I already pencil drew it, so I'm not even going to measure it. I'm good. Okay, and on the flap, what we need to do on the long side is, no, I'm sorry. We need to score it on the short side at 1/2 inch. Or you can do the 5/8, it doesn't really matter. So see, we scored, put it in at the short side and scored it 1/2 inch. So you can do that in your, with your, that's my dog yawning. You can do that on your paper trimmer or your scoreboard. So I like to miter my corners. It's your preference. You don't have to. It just, for me, it just makes it a little bit easier to put it in there. So if you have weak paper or paper that cracks, like sometimes the texture papers crack, you can put a piece of clear Scotch tape, like the wrapping paper tape, on top of this. I had to do that for this paper because I kept folding it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then it cracked. I don't know why I kept doing that, but I put a piece of Scotch tape on it and you can't even tell. Like, I just glued everything to it. So, you know, you can do that if you want. And my score tape. Okay. So I cleaned my craft room and I have no idea where everything is. Alright, so you're going to use a lot of score tape in this album, which I'm probably going to have to order more. Actually, there's no probably about it. I'm definitely going to have to order more. And I use cheaper angel tape to do my matting, because angel tape to me is not strong at all. For me, I don't like angel tape, but I did use it for matting because it is very thin, like a tape runner. And I just wanted to use up the roll that I had. And my paper is super thin. Like the paper collection is, honestly, it's thinner than copier paper. So I figured the angel tape should be able to, you know, adhere that. So it did. Okay, so on our flap, we have our flap like this. We are going to put score tape on the inside. Okay, if you accidentally put it on the wrong side, doesn't matter, just flip it and it'll be fine. So we're going to do that. I like to put mine inside the pocket. It's just my preference. You don't have to. Like, I'm going to attach mine like this. Sorry, this is on black paper, but I don't have any other cream paper left. So that's how mine's going in the pocket. So when you pull it up, you won't see. You can just adhere it to the front here. The other ones were going to adhere to the front, but I didn't. I put it inside the pocket. So it's up to you how you want to do it. But what I did first was put the pocket on. So we're going to go ahead and take our score tape off. That's not varnished very well. So when you put your score tape down and when you go to peel it, if it comes up off the paper, that means it does not have a good adhesion to it. So you just need to varnish it and make sure that you push the tape all the way down. So for me, I just like to take everything off. I'm more comfortable taking it off than leaving it on. So it is what it is. Now we're going to make sure that our openings are to the left and to the right, which they are. And we are going to put this down, giving it about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom and 1/8 of an inch from the sides, roughly. Again, when you put your paper in your embellishments, people are not going to notice if your paper is not exactly even. Okay, so there's our pocket. Just making sure everything's varnished down. And yes, this step is necessary. You want to make sure you have a good varnish. I've noticed on books that I did not varnish just because I didn't. After a while, the pages do start to come up, and all you have to do is varnish them down, and it's fine. But, you know, do you want your recipient to have to do that? No. So we'll go ahead and varnish now. Right. So this one we're going to go ahead. This is our flap, the front, and then the back. So at this point, if you want to round your corners, you can go ahead and round your corners. If you want to do a Martha Stewart punch, do a Martha Stewart punch. I forgot to tell you that before we adhered our pocket down. You can do that. And I think I want to make my pocket, my flap. No, it's good. Okay, so I think I do want to round my corners. I don't know where any of my corner rounders are. I have 4 of them. And I don't see any of them. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm doing mine the 1/2 inch with the corner chompers. Doesn't really matter. Whatever you want. Oh, you know what? I have those fancy ones. I could have used a fancy one that punches like little flowers or whatever. Whatever your preference. So we're going to go ahead and take this tape off. And, okay, so we're going to take the tape off, fold it in, and we are going to line it up without pressing on the score tape. Just insert it in and give it that 1/8 of an inch from each side and going right up to the score line but not on the score line. And we're going to mash it down. Okay, so you see here I have a little overhang of score tape, and that's not good because when you go to open and close it, obviously your score tape is going to be in the way, so I'll pick that out eventually. That's the one thing about score tape is once it's down, it is down. It does not like to come up. Okay, so we'll deal with that later because my son is calling. So here is page 1, all done. Here is our pocket. Here is our flip. So So we're done with page 1, and we'll do page 2 in the next video. Bye, guys.